Today we are going to deal with two very important subjects, prayer and fasting. But before we dive into prayer, I want to talk about fasting first, because your safety and understanding are my priorities. Notice that I put the word power next to fasting. This is intentional. Prayer is powerful, but fasting carries a unique level of power all its own. Fasting is like adding a new combustion horsepower engine to your old car engine. It's like taking your ordinary life and elevating it to a level it has never reached before. Imagine adding another cylinder to your car. It now has greater capacity, more power, more speed. Fasting provides spiritual power that is not normal. I speak from personal experience. I call fasting the kingdom key to power in prayer. You can pray and still not get results, but it's almost impossible to pray and fast and not see results. There are times when our prayers seem to have no effect, but when fasting is added, results are guaranteed. Most of us have not been taught to fast, and we have rarely been encouraged to do so. Today, I want to begin with some fundamental statements about prayer and fasting. Statement 1, prayer is common. All religions pray. Buddhists pray. Hindus pray. Muslims pray. Even the Universalists, and yes, even some who practice dark arts pray. Prayer is not unique to Christianity. Many religions actually pray more than Christians. But the question is, do they get answers? That's a separate question. And for example, Hindus may meditate and pray for hours trying to align themselves with the universe. Buddhists engage in deep meditation, sometimes sitting for days in silence. Muslims pray at least 5 times a day, facing Mecca. Most Christians do not pray with that level of discipline. So prayer is common. Everyone does it. The challenge is not in praying, it's in being effective in prayer. Christ himself warned against thinking that long repetitive prayers guarantee answers. Speaking to the Pharisees, he said they were heard not because of the quantity of words, but because of the sincerity of their hearts. So even devout believers can pray and still not see results if the heart and the method are wrong. Statement 2, prayer is a necessity, not an option. Prayer is a command from God, not merely a suggestion. When you don't pray, you are disobedient. God delights when you pray, and his promises are released when obedience is present. Prayer is the most common expectation of every believer. It is foundational. Every person who gives their life to the Lord is encouraged to pray. Yet paradoxically, it is also the most neglected practice. Many would rather sing in the choir, serve in hospitality, or even manage the nursery than spend time in focused prayer. Prayer is often relegated to a few intercessors, usually elderly women, who faithfully pray when others avoid it. But this is a misunderstanding of the purpose of prayer. It is meant for everyone, not just a select few. Statement 3, people don't pray because they don't see results. I grew up in a religious environment, and like many of you, I wondered, why is the church full on Sunday mornings but nearly empty during prayer meetings? People stop praying because their prayers seem ineffective. Logically, if you keep doing something that produces no results, eventually you stop. Here's what I call the prayer principle. Without God, man cannot do anything on earth, but without man, God will not do anything on earth. John Wesley. This is profound. Prayer is a partnership between God and man. Heaven wants to act, but it waits for permission through your prayers. You are God's channel, the pipe through which he releases his power. Earth depends on heaven, but heaven depends on earth for its cooperation. Prayer is a legal license for heavenly intervention. When you pray, you give God authority to move in your life and in the world. Without your faith, God's power remains available but unused. This is why fasting is so important. It enlarges your capacity to be that pipe, allowing God to flow powerfully through your life. Now that we've established the importance of prayer, let's focus on fasting, because this is where the real power multiplies. Many people misunderstand fasting, thinking it is primarily a way to punish the body or earn favor with God. But fasting is not about God needing something from you. It's about you aligning yourself with God so that his power can flow freely through your life. Statement 4, fasting is not for God, but for you. God doesn't need your food. He doesn't require your sleep or your discomfort. Fasting is not a tool to manipulate God or earn his attention. It is a tool to increase your spiritual capacity. Think of fasting like removing a blockage in a water pipe. The water, God's power, is always available. But if the pipe is clogged, your distractions, weaknesses, or spiritual laziness, the flow is limited. Fasting clears the blockage. When you fast, your body becomes lighter, your mind sharper, and your spirit more sensitive to God's voice. Suddenly, things that were invisible to you become clear. Answers to prayers that seemed impossible now come with ease. This is why fasting is called a supernatural amplifier for prayer. Statement 5, Fasting strengthens the spirit over the flesh. The moment you choose to fast, a battle begins. Your flesh resists. It hates restriction. Your mind complains, I'm hungry, tired, or weak. This is exactly why fasting is so powerful. By denying your body temporarily, you strengthen your spirit permanently. The spirit becomes stronger than the flesh. This principle is seen throughout the Bible. Moses fasted for 40 days and nights, and God gave him the 10 commandments. Jesus fasted for 40 days and nights, and he emerged with authority over all temptation and spiritual power. Daniel fasted, and the answers to prayers that were hidden for decades came immediately. Statement 6, fasting magnifies prayer. Here's a truth that cannot be ignored. Fasting makes prayer more effective. A simple prayer can become powerful when combined with fasting. A prayer that seemed to hit the ceiling of heaven now breaks through. Why? Because fasting tunes your spirit to the same frequency as God. Your desires, your mind, and your heart align with His will. In practical terms, fasting teaches you focus, patience, and persistence. You learn to pray with intensity and clarity, not out of habit or routine, but with conviction. Your prayers become more strategic because you are more spiritually awake. Statement 7, fasting produces results you cannot achieve otherwise. Some situations require fasting for results. Period. There are times when prayer alone will not bring breakthrough because the spiritual opposition is strong. In such cases, fasting is the key to unlock victory. Think of it as trying to open a safe. Prayer alone is like trying to turn the combination lock without the code. Fasting is like being given the code that allows the lock to open effortlessly. Without it, no amount of force will work. Even if you are unsure about how long to fast or how intense your fast should be, beginning to fast at any level increases your effectiveness in prayer. God honors the heart that is willing to discipline itself in pursuit of His power. Practical encouragement. You do not have to start with a 40-day fast. You can begin with a single meal, a day, or even partial fasts. The key is intentionality. Your purpose must be clear: to grow closer to God, increase spiritual power, and gain clarity for your prayers. Fasting is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It's not about deprivation, it's about liberation from the limits of the flesh so the Spirit can fully operate. Now that we understand why fasting is so essential and how it magnifies prayer, it's time to explore the how to fast effectively so that it truly brings spiritual breakthrough. Many people attempt fasting but give up quickly, or they fast incorrectly, which limits the results. Let's break it down carefully. Statement 8, there are different types of fasts. Fasting is not one size fits all. The Bible shows us multiple types of fasts, each serving a specific purpose. Absolute fast, no food or water for a limited time, usually done in emergencies or for intense spiritual focus. Partial fast, certain foods are restricted. Daniel practiced this type, eating only vegetables and water. Intermittent fast, skipping meals at certain hours to dedicate that time to prayer and meditation. Corporate fast, a group fast where a community comes together to seek God for a collective purpose. Personal fast, tailored individually for spiritual growth or personal breakthrough. Choosing the right type of fast depends on your goal, health, and spiritual readiness. The goal is never to punish the body, but to strengthen the spirit and intensify prayer. Statement 9, preparation is key. Before starting any fast, preparation is crucial. Don't jump in blindly. Start by asking God for guidance and clarity on what type of fast to undertake. Then, gradually reduce your food intake or adjust your routine so the body doesn't rebel. During preparation, focus on mental and spiritual readiness. Remove distractions. Set aside extra time for prayer, meditation, and worship. The more intentional you are, the more powerful the results will be. Statement 10, fasting requires discipline and consistency. Fasting is not easy. Your body will protest, your mind will resist, and even your emotions may fluctuate. But this is exactly the point. Fasting trains your spirit to overcome obstacles and remain disciplined. Consistency matters. A single fast can bring results, but regular fasting establishes a rhythm of spiritual sensitivity. Your spirit becomes tuned to hear God clearly, even outside of fasting periods. Statement 11, common mistakes to avoid. Many people fast incorrectly, which limits their spiritual impact. Fasting without prayer, prayer is the engine, fasting is the fuel. Without prayer, fasting loses its purpose. Fasting to impress others. Fasting is private, not public. The reward comes from God, not people. Fasting without purpose. Always know why you are fasting. Random fasting without focus may yield minimal results. Giving up too soon. Breakthrough often comes just beyond the point where the flesh wants to quit. Perseverance is essential. Statement 12. The spiritual benefits are life-changing. When fasting is done correctly, it transforms more than your prayer life. Clarity of mind. Your thoughts become sharper. Distractions fade. Emotional balance. Fasting teaches control over impulses and emotional reactions. Physical sensitivity. The body responds to the spirit, enhancing energy and focus. Spiritual breakthroughs. Barriers that seemed insurmountable suddenly fall. Fasting, when paired with prayer, is a powerful conduit for supernatural intervention. It aligns your will with God's, amplifies your spiritual authority, and opens doors that cannot be opened through ordinary means. Now that we've explored the types of fasts, preparation, and the spiritual benefits, it's time to focus on how to combine fasting with focused prayer to unlock real breakthroughs in your life. Many people fast, but they don't fully harness its power because they overlook the strategic alignment with prayer. Statement 13. Fasting amplifies prayer. Fasting and prayer are like two wings of the same bird. One cannot fly without the other. When you fast, your spirit becomes more sensitive, and your prayers gain depth and intensity. Think of fasting as removing the noise that keeps you from hearing God clearly. Hunger is not the goal, but a tool to sharpen your spiritual senses. With a clear mind and a focused heart, your prayers move from routine to powerful, life-altering intercession. Statement 14. Targeted prayer during fasting. A common mistake is to pray vaguely while fasting. To maximize results, prayers should be intentional and specific. Pray for guidance and wisdom. Pray for spiritual breakthroughs in areas where you feel stuck. Pray for healing, protection, or provision depending on your need. Pray for others. Interceding for friends, family, or your community amplifies the power of your fast. When you pray with focus, fasting strengthens the impact of your words, turning them into spiritual declarations that can shift circumstances. Statement 15. Overcoming spiritual obstacles. Fasting and prayer together create a force that breaks down spiritual barriers, but resistance may arise, doubt, fear, or temptation. This is natural. The key is to stand firm in your faith, knowing that fasting trains you to rely on God rather than your own strength. When fatigue hits, remind yourself of your purpose. When distractions arise, return to prayer and worship. When discouragement comes, speak aloud your faith and trust in God's timing. Spiritual breakthroughs often come just after the most intense period of fasting. This is not coincidence. It is the refining process of your spirit being strengthened to receive the answers. Statement 16, combining fasting with worship and meditation. Prayer is essential, but adding worship and meditation elevates the fast even further. Scripture tells us that when God's people humble themselves, seek Him, and turn from their wicked ways, He will hear from heaven and heal their land. Worship tunes your spirit to God's frequency. Meditation allows God to speak to you personally. Together they create a spiritual environment where miracles can occur. Statement 17, keeping a spiritual journal. During fasting, writing down your experiences, insights, and revelations is a powerful practice. It helps you see patterns, track growth, and remember the lessons God is teaching. Note prayers that feel especially strong. Record visions, dreams, or sudden insights. Track the areas where you sense change or breakthrough. A journal not only reinforces your spiritual discipline, but also becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness in your fasting journey. Statement 18, the role of faith. Finally, fasting without faith yields little fruit. Faith is the engine that drives fasting and prayer into action. Believe that God is listening, that He is responding, and that breakthrough is coming, even before you see it. Faith, combined with fasting and focused prayer, creates a spiritual momentum that is unstoppable. Now that we've explored how fasting amplifies prayer, worship, and meditation, it's time to see real-life examples and testimonies. Understanding how ordinary people experience extraordinary results through fasting can inspire you to commit fully and persist through challenges. Statement 19, testimony of spiritual breakthrough. Consider the story of a young woman named Sarah. She struggled with a sense of emptiness and spiritual stagnation. She decided to commit to a 3-day fast, combining prayer, meditation, and worship each day. On the second day, she felt a deep sense of peace and clarity she had never experienced before. By the third day, she received guidance on a career decision that had been weighing heavily on her. The outcome? She made a choice aligned with her purpose, which brought fulfillment and opened new opportunities. Sarah's experience demonstrates that fasting is not just about self-denial, it is about preparing your spirit to receive guidance and blessings. Statement 20, overcoming personal challenges through fasting. Another testimony comes from Michael, who struggled with anxiety and fear about his future. He committed to a 7-day fast, dedicating time to prayer for courage and wisdom. The first few days were physically and mentally challenging, but he persisted. On the 4th day, he had a breakthrough. He gained confidence to pursue a personal project he had been avoiding. By the end of the fast, Michael felt empowered, knowing that he had relied on God's strength rather than his own. Fasting transforms internal struggles into opportunities for spiritual growth and mental clarity. Statement 21, family and community blessings. Fasting does not only impact individuals, it can extend blessings to families and communities. a group of friends decided to fast for 21 days, praying for unity and healing in their community. During the fast, they reported increased harmony in their families and workplaces. They also witnessed positive changes in their neighborhood, including reconciliation among neighbors and new community projects. This shows that fasting, when combined with prayer for others, can create collective spiritual breakthroughs that ripple outward. Statement 22, fasting for divine intervention. Sometimes fasting is necessary when situations seem impossible. Many people experience miracles during fasts, financial provision, unexpected guidance, healing, or reconciliation. The key is faithful persistence. Continue praying and fasting even when immediate results are not visible. Remember that the greatest transformations often occur in the invisible spiritual realm before manifesting in the physical world. Statement 23, lessons learned from testimonies. From these testimonies, we can draw several important lessons. Fasting requires discipline and commitment. It is a spiritual workout. Breakthroughs often occur after challenges when faith is tested. Fasting benefits extend beyond the individual. It impacts families, communities, and even future opportunities. The combination of prayer, worship, meditation, and faith amplifies results. Keeping track of experiences and reflections helps maintain clarity and purpose. Statement 24, encouragement to begin. If you have never fasted before, let these stories inspire you. Start small, remain consistent, and focus on prayer and spiritual growth. Fasting is not a punishment. It is a powerful spiritual tool designed to draw you closer to God, strengthen your faith, and unlock doors that were previously closed. Now that we've explored testimonies of transformation and spiritual breakthroughs, it's time to move into practical steps for fasting. Understanding the types of fasts, how to implement them, and how to combine them with prayer and meditation is essential for maximizing results. Statement 25, different types of fasts. Fasting is not one size fits all. There are several types of fasts you can choose from depending on your spiritual goals, health, and lifestyle. Complete fast. Abstaining from all food and sometimes liquids for a set period. Ideal for deep spiritual encounters, but should be done with medical awareness if extended beyond 24 to 48 hours. Partial fast, restricting certain types of foods, e.g. sweets, meat, or processed foods, while continuing to eat other healthy items. Great for beginners. Intermittent fast, eating only during specific hours of the day, such as 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of fasting. Useful for developing discipline and self-control. Juice or liquid fast, consuming only liquids like water, juice, or broths. Helps maintain energy while still engaging in spiritual discipline. Daniel fast, based on the biblical example of Daniel, involving consumption of only vegetables, fruits, and water for a period of time, often done for 21 days. Statement 26, determining duration and frequency. The duration and frequency of your fast should depend on your experience, health, and spiritual needs. Some guidelines: beginners can start with 12 to 24 hours, focusing on prayer and meditation. Intermediate practitioners may extend fasts to 3 days or even a week, observing their body's limits. Advanced practitioners may engage in 21-day fasts, often for significant spiritual breakthroughs or guidance. Frequency can range from once a week to once a month, depending on your goals and personal capacity. Statement 27. Preparation is key. Preparation is critical for a successful fast. Mental preparation. Set clear intentions for the fast. Decide what you want to achieve spiritually, mentally, or emotionally. Physical preparation. Gradually reduce heavy foods and caffeine a day or two before the fast. Drink plenty of water. Spiritual preparation. Begin with prayer, reflection, and gratitude. Ask for strength and guidance throughout the fast. Statement 28. Daily routine during fasting. To maximize your fast, structure your day intentionally. Morning. Begin with prayer and meditation. Focus on gratitude and spiritual goals. Midday. Read spiritual texts or reflect on personal growth. Engage in light activities to maintain focus. Evening. Conclude with worship, journaling your experiences, and prayer for guidance and clarity. Statement 29. Staying safe and mindful. Health is crucial. Fasting should not compromise your well-being. Tips for safe fasting. Stay hydrated. Drink water throughout the fast. Listen to your body. If you feel dizzy, weak, or unwell, end the fast gradually. Avoid strenuous physical activities during long fasts. Seek medical advice if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Statement 30. Integrating fasting into daily life. Fasting is most effective when it becomes a habit, not a sporadic activity. Consider designating 1 day per week for a partial or intermittent fast, using fasting as a tool before making big decisions or seeking guidance, involving family or friends in fasting challenges to strengthen accountability and spiritual support, reflecting on your experiences after each fast to track growth and insights. Statement 31, mindset during the fast. Your mindset determines the depth of the fast. Focus on spiritual gain rather than hunger. Embrace discomfort as part of the process, knowing it leads to spiritual growth. Maintain faith that God is guiding you and that results may manifest in both visible and invisible ways. Now that we've discussed types of fast, preparation, and daily routines, it's time to address challenges and obstacles that often arise during fasting. Understanding these ahead of time will help you persevere and maintain focus. Statement 32, common physical challenges. Even experienced practitioners may encounter physical difficulties during fasting. Some common challenges include hunger pangs, a natural response, especially during the first day or two. Drink water, herbal teas, or juice if permitted. Fatigue and low energy. Your body is adjusting to reduce caloric intake. Light physical activity, rest, and meditation can help. Headaches, often caused by caffeine withdrawal or dehydration. Stay hydrated and rest. Digestive changes, some may experience constipation or stomach discomfort. Gradual preparation before the fast and gentle refeeding afterward can prevent this. Statement 33, emotional and mental challenges. Fasting can bring hidden emotions to the surface. Common mental and emotional challenges include irritability, hunger, and low energy can make moods fluctuate. Practice patience and mindfulness. Doubt and discouragement. You may question whether the fast is working. Keep a journal of insights and spiritual experiences to reinforce purpose. Distractions. Your mind may wander or focus on food. Combat this with prayer, reading, or meditation. Statement 34, overcoming spiritual obstacles. Fasting is as much spiritual as it is physical. Spiritual challenges may include lack of motivation. Remind yourself of your purpose and the spiritual benefits you seek. Temptation to give up. Many face moments of doubt or weakness. Focus on long-term growth rather than short-term discomfort. Feeling spiritually stuck, not all fasts yield immediate answers or breakthroughs. Trust the process and remain consistent. Statement 35, strategies for perseverance. To successfully overcome challenges during fasting, set clear intentions, write down why you are fasting and what you hope to achieve. Plan for distractions. Have spiritual activities ready, such as prayer, meditation, or reading. Practice self-compassion. Do not judge yourself harshly if difficulties arise. Adapt the fast if needed. Seek accountability. Share your fasting goals with a mentor, friend, or community group. Statement 36, motivation for long-term discipline. Fasting is a discipline that yields long-term spiritual, mental, and emotional benefits. Strategies to maintain motivation. Reflect on past fasting experiences and lessons learned. Visualize the spiritual breakthroughs you desire. Celebrate small milestones like completing a full day or successfully avoiding certain foods. Remember that consistency is more powerful than intensity. Shorter, regular fasts are often more sustainable than extreme, infrequent fasts. Statement 37, integrating lessons learned. Each fast teaches lessons about your body, mind, and spirit. To integrate these lessons, journal your thoughts, emotions, and insights during and after each fast. Apply spiritual insights to everyday decisions and challenges. Adjust your fasting practices as needed to align with your evolving goals and lifestyle. Statement 38, combining fasting with prayer and meditation. Fasting reaches its full potential when combined with spiritual practices. Prayer. Use fasting to deepen your connection, seek guidance, and offer gratitude. Meditation. Quiet reflection allows you to process insights and maintain focus. Scripture or spiritual reading reinforces discipline and offers encouragement during challenging moments. Now we reach the final segment where we explore advanced techniques, long-term benefits, success stories, and final encouragement to make fasting a transformational practice in your life. Statement 39, advanced fasting techniques. Once you are familiar with basic fasting, you can explore more advanced methods to deepen your experience. Extended fasts, lasting 24 to 72 hours or more. Only attempt after consulting a healthcare professional and with proper preparation. Intermittent fasting variations such as 16 to 8, 18 to 6, or 20 to 4 schedules, which allow you to maintain energy while still experiencing the benefits of fasting. Spiritual fasting, focusing not only on food, but on limiting distractions like social media, entertainment, or unnecessary activities to increase mental clarity and spiritual awareness. Juice or liquid fasting provides minimal calories while still allowing detoxification and mental focus. Statement 40, long-term benefits of fasting. Fasting consistently over time can produce profound benefits. Physical health, improved metabolism, better digestion and cellular repair. Mental clarity, enhanced focus, memory and emotional balance. Spiritual growth, increased self-discipline, deeper connection with your purpose and heightened mindfulness. Emotional resilience, greater patience, reduced impulsivity and better stress management. Statement 41, inspiring success stories. Many people have transformed their lives through fasting. Individuals who overcame chronic illnesses or digestive issues, professionals who experience improved productivity and mental sharpness, spiritual seekers who deepen their sense of purpose and inner peace. These stories illustrate that fasting is not just a temporary challenge, but a path to lasting transformation. Statement 42, practical tips for sustainable fasting. To make fasting a sustainable part of your life, start small and gradually increase intensity. Build endurance over weeks and months. Stay consistent. Regular fasting yields better results than occasional extremes. Listen to your body. Adjust the duration, type, and intensity of fasts to your physical and emotional needs. Combined with supportive practices, meditation, prayer, journaling, or light exercise, enhance the overall benefits. Statement 43, embracing fasting as a lifestyle. Fasting is more than abstaining from food. It's a lifestyle choice that cultivates discipline, mindfulness, and resilience. Treat fasting as a journey rather than a task. Reflect on the lessons you learn from each fast. Integrate fasting principles into your daily habits for long-term improvement. Statement 44, final encouragement. Remember, every challenge you face during fasting is an opportunity for growth. The discomfort is temporary, but the wisdom, clarity, and discipline you gain are lasting. Approach each fast with intention, preparation, and patience. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Trust that fasting can strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and elevate your spirit. Statement 45, closing thoughts. Fasting is a powerful tool for transformation, offering physical, mental, and spiritual benefits. By approaching it with respect, preparation, and consistency, you unlock its full potential. Let each fast guide you toward a healthier, clearer, and more purposeful life.